why you take a look at that. It is time to do Community Day talk, so yes. It is featuring our good friend Machop. And I can't keep this song up and talk about things cause I got some beef to flaunt. Wasn't a fan, at least at first. I was pleasantly surprised going into the event how much I enjoyed it. This is right around the time we were getting all this news about the Kanto celebration and several community days featuring Kanto Pokemon in the past. And while Machop wasn't exactly a bad option for this, I probably wasn't excited about it as many other people because I was lucky enough to get a shiny Machop already. By far not the only reason I wasn't excited for Machop Community Day, because if it was, I would overlook it and consider if I didn't have to shiny Machop, I'd be excited for it. But I guess I was just going through a lot of Kanto fatigue, and I was convinced that I wouldn't like it, but I wanted to have the opportunity to go out and walk anyway, so I went out walking. Plus there was the whole double Stardust, or triple Stardust. Forgot that ever since Spotlight Hours thing, they bumped it up to make Community Day stand out. And I had a good time overall. There was plenty of walking to be had, it was fun to do, and I had a lot of good luck with the Machops along the way. Before I go into the specifics of my personal experience, let me give a quick recap of the event. Because it has been about a month, you might have forgot. It featured Machop, with its shiny boosted rate in of itself. You got 3 times Stardust for catching the Pokemon. And since the last 3 hours, that's kind of been a thing since the new format, or the new time frame for Community Day. Same thing with photobombing, to get extra Machops. The fun thing for this Community Day in particular was, right around that same weekend, they announced that they were going to increase the trading range. So I know not everyone was as lucky, but for me in particular, this was a perfect opportunity to swap Pokemon with people. And even before Community Day, I was making use out of this to just swap rare Pokemon for more candy, swap other Pokemon around to see if they got better IVs or turn lucky. But specifically during the Machop Community Day, we could just swap Machops around, try to get IVs, maybe lucky. Nothing else. Machop's one of the Pokemon where if you evolve up one that you got from a trade, you can save some candy, because typically it would cost 25 to evolve into a Machoke and then 100 to evolve into a Machamp. But if you evolve up a Pokemon you're traded, when it gets in the Machoke to Machamp's phase, the cost is free. So that's typically why they increase the trade range, so you can capitalize on a feature of Machoke / Machamp, the whole free cost if you evolve up a traded Pokemon. And I thought that was cool. It's a bit of a shame that people a bit further away from their friends may not have been able to capitalize on this opportunity. But it's kind of at the point where increasing the range a little bit more, I don't know, would help too many more people. You kind of would have to make it completely remote trading, and that's another discussion in of itself. But for the sake of trying to get local communities to play with each other again while still allowing us to be safe, I see it working for that. I consider myself a rural enough player where if I want to interact with any stops or gyms, I actually have to drive out somewhere to actually play Pokemon Go, and yet I was able to trade with everyone that I typically would trade with in the normal times from my house, including people that I would normally have to take a half-hour drive up to see, or at least to play with them in the areas I would typically play. Even though I got the feeling they only increased the trade range for this Community Day because it tied into a trade evolution, I'd love if they do this for every single Community Day. Part of the magic of Community Day was interacting with other people, including taking some time after we're all done catching just to swap Pokemon with each other to try to get good IVs and lucky Pokemon from the Community Day Pokemon. That was always part of the magic of the old days in Community Day for me personally. So that's the argument I would make for making this a quote-unquote permanent feature for Community Days. I can understand if they want to keep it solely to Pokemon that involve trade evolutions, but that doesn't take away from how badly I'd love to see this come back for other Community Days. As for my community day spoils, let me pull up my phone and give you a little more detail on that. I can't exactly count how many shinies I got because I think I've transferred a lot of them to either Let's Go or Pokemon Home already. But I'm surprised of how many I'm still holding on to. For some reason, like 12 or something came in my mind. But I think the big thing was like, didn't matter how many I caught because the things that I did get were pretty darn good. Though not as good as Roselia Community Day. I think that's where I got the idea of, well, I didn't get a ton of shinies compared to what I normally would get. But the quality of what I got was amazing. But I gotta save that for next month. For Machop Community Day though, I think the two most major highlights were a pair of really good shiny IVs that I got. This one that I named Femhawk is like a 14-15-14. And I also have a Machamp that's 15-11-11. So I think Femhawk I have powered up for raiding, though I'm not sure when I'm actually going to use it because I have that Shadow Machamp already, and I don't think I have a Lucario powered up beyond Ultra League, but I do have a Conkeldurr. I'm sure like if I need an all-fighting team, I could fit it in somewhere. I was debating exactly which one I would evolve Community Day, which one I didn't, so I think Femhawk I wait until after Community Day, after you can learn Payback anymore, because I was pretty convinced I'd be using that one just for raiding anyways. And this other one that's the 15-15-11, I actually evolved during Community Day so I can get paid back just in case it was useful for Master League. Let me think. I don't know if there was really like any other notable shinies, but I do seem to have another really good IV'd high CP Machop here, but it doesn't really matter because I've already maxed out my Machamp team a while back. But it also looks like I picked up one for Great League that's pretty good in IVs. And the literal perfect Ultra League Machop. Like, I haven't evolved it yet just because I know for a lot of leagues because that Rock Slide is still more relevant than Payback. Hindsight, though, I realized I think Ultra League's the one league where you kind of there'd be situations to actually use Payback over Rock Slide, but well, hindsight's 2020. I don't think I've ever actually used Machamp in any of the leagues, even though it does have some nice niches in certain metas. That said, I think on that same day I hatched another Galarian Ponyta. It's not my first, but it was nice to hatch another one because one, it's out of state, so it'll be nice for trading. Two, I haven't evolved my Ponyta into a Galarian Rapidash yet, so having the options between one or the other is always nice. I think I might wait just because, like, in my hunts to try to get Galarian Durantane, I'll probably put in 7k egg on an incubator every now and then. Sorry, I was hesitating what they're called Alolan eggs, but that's not exactly relevant now. Right now they're like regional eggs, but Niantic has proven that they will shake up that egg pool whenever they well please. Did I really actually catch this one on Community Day as well? Now, I just have like a nice PvP IV Shieldon hanging out here. Probably not powered up because I still have sentimental attachment to the Lucky Bastiodon that I powered up for Great League. And what am I doing with this random Flareon? Well, I mean, this is fine because this actually helps me like clean out my box while I'm going through and actually looking over everything that I've got lately. So I think that's everything from Machop Community Day. I'm going to backpedal a little bit back to the start of January, more specifically December 31st, 2020, because I have a nice little hash. One, that's the day I actually got my first shiny Snover. Actually, I kind of realized maybe I should like have a video form of this for the YouTube people. Not sure if it's actually, it's probably too little too late, but oh well. So yeah, here's my shiny Snover. I don't think the IVs are anything good, so nothing, I'm not gonna pull it up here. I'm surprised I have this chest pin still. It's probably like good PvP IVs, and I was just debating whether to evolve it now or wait for an eventual community day. I'll probably evolve it eventually because there are Pokemon like shoot, I'm blanking out on Fennekin's Delphox. I've been hearing some good things about Delphox in the current Love Cup, so I snapped and decided to evolve the good PvP one I had of that already. So I think that kind of takes away the pressure of waiting on the others Kalos starters. Also, hi Shiny Pikachu. Funny thing, I right before the New Year's event ended, I got not one, but two. Oh, that's not the Shiny New Year's Pikachu. This is the Shiny New Year's Pikachu. I think I'm mixing this up with another holiday, like the previous winter one, where I managed to get two of the Shiny event Pikachus back to back. And at the risk of making this go on longer than it needs to, let me double check that. Oh no, it was way back for the Safari Shiny Celebi event, where I got the male and female Pikachu back to back. I think I talked about it already, but just in case, now you know. Also, I finally got myself my first and probably only Noivat until they actually do an event around that. There's actually quite a bit of a story about it, but I also feel like I kind of talked about it already. Basically, it was a quote-unquote house spawn, but it showed up on my nearby, despite the fact I have no Pokestop. It showed up on my nearby, but didn't show up when I booted up the game. And since there's no stops anywhere nearby me when I'm at home, I had to walk around the yard and walk down the road a little bit to the left and to the right to try to find where the heck that thing was. Speaking of good luck, in January, I also got myself a shiny 2020 Slowpoke. Been debating whether to evolve into Slowbro or not, especially Love Cup, which is happening while I'm recording this, is going on, and I've been hearing good things about the whole Slowpoke family and that. But the IVs on this aren't that great. The fact that the glass has changed completely from 2020 to 2021 kind of got me on the fence about that. I'm not sure why I kept this Slowpoke. I'll look more into it later though. Apparently I also got a good IV Froakie in that time frame. That's my Burn Drive Genesect. Nothing too special, but it is technically a new Genesect, so I decided to hold on to it, because I think that was only one of maybe 2 raids I did for Genesect. Also, there was a Skarmory nest during the time frame of Genesect being in raids, so of course I got another shiny Skarmory, because it's basically law whenever a nest rotates and migrates. Whenever one of my local nests migrate in Skarmories, as long as I play there a couple times, I'm definitely gonna get at least one. It's practically a law at this point. Also, the new shiny Bronzor is pretty nice. Thanks for crashing, game. Alright, I'm back. Hi, Feral Seed. Where I leave off, I think the last thing I said was Skarmory before things went down. Oh, and we're just about to get to the point where my series of lucky trades working pretty well in my favor happened. Starting off here, it's one of those events where they increase the trade distance, so I was actually able to trade with some friends. So I was knocking out some lucky friends, and we decided to trade. I forget exactly what I traded in return. It was something pretty good actually for them to get, but I got shiny Solrock in return. And I think the best part was the IVs came out pretty good. Not that I'll ever actually use it, but it used to be good for a reason. And the other lucky trade I did was with the Gyarados. And it came out really, really good. Like a 15, 14, 14, or it had perfect attack, and the other 2 sets of IVs were really good to the point where I actually have this thing maxed out now. And I've actually been on the fence of whether to have this be my Mega Evolve or have Hoopla. Because I think they're both actually the same IVs, and technically I have a perfect IV Gyarados as well. But I just feel like the IVs are so close between all three of them that I'm better off going for either the sentimental value or the shiny flex over just technically one extra IV that probably doesn't even matter for the raid scene. Also, lucky traded a Cranidos and a Tangrowth, mostly because those are fairly relevant raid Pokemon. And I already talked about my community day stuff. Yeah, picked up a couple of Gibbles from events. Got another shiny Bulbasaur, because I don't know what it is, but I feel like I'm a shiny Bulbasaur magnet. Like, after I was I have a funny story. Shortly after I was training, one of my friend's favorite Pokemon is Bulbasaur. So I was holding on to a shiny Bulbasaur specifically for them for the longest time. And now that, like, Pokemon Home is a thing, like, I could have done this way back in the Let's Go game, but I guess, like, even though we're on opposite sides of the country, I always held on to hope that someday we'd be able to meet in person and just lucky trade in Pokemon Go. But a while back, we finally decided I'll just transfer this thing down to Sword and Shield and trade it to them directly that way. And shortly after doing that, I got like 2 shiny Bulbasaurs very close together. I don't remember exactly if they were within the same day, but they were very close together. And this isn't even one of those 2 Bulbasaurs. This is like one I got a couple months after that. So I don't know what it is, but I just keep attracting shiny Bulbasaurs. Got my second shiny Tailo, which is nice because now I have an unevolved and evolved one. I guess I got this good IV'd PvP Mudkip for whenever Hydro Cannon comes back. And I would say the same thing with this Bulbasaur. As I'm recording this, the Kanto event's only a couple weeks, which would be nice if it wasn't for the fact that I caught this Bulbasaur after the last time we could TM away Frustration, which you would think would be the last Rocket event, but actually wasn't. Which is a bit of a shame, but it's the way it is. Second shiny Bulb Toy. Forgot what event I got that from. And I got just like a few Groudons net here. Pretty good IV. Aeron. Weedle. And I wouldn't normally talk about this, but I have been using this Vileplume in particular for the Love Cup. So I guess it's worth knowing that I got this this Shadow Vileplume. Fairly good IVs for that too. Unfortunately, again, there hasn't been a way to TM away Frustration since I got it, so I don't have the full optimal moveset that a lot of other people who would actually be using this would have, but it is what it is. Pretty good IV Meditite in there from the current Chinese, Lunar New Year's event going on. Actually, I think I'm getting a little ahead of myself. No, actually, really, this was all from the New Year's event? Because I'm pretty sure that's when they, no, this meant I had to been before then, because got a couple shiny Mareeps here from the Mareep Day. Mareep Day was pretty fun. Like, I didn't spend all of it at home, but I had this fun setup on Twitch where I had CPUs play Mario Party 5 while I was shiny checking Pokemon in Pokemon Go. Eventually, we swapped over to Sword and Shield and did Dynamax Adventures with chat and that, but either way, it was pretty fun. I really missed actually doing the CPU Mario Party while playing Pokemon Go gimmick. It's a fun little gimmick because, I don't know about you guys, but I can imagine just, it being a little repetitive to just keep trying checking Pokemon. So having something else going on stream layout, not only keep myself entertained, but the viewers, and just, mix in more opportunities for hype moments to happen. It's all fun and dandy. A lot of Larvitars. Apparently got a perfect IV Apom, which I'm a huge fan of. I'm a huge fan of getting a Hundo, because it's one of the Pokemon I like. Apparently I got another... Okay, so yeah, this wasn't even when I was thinking about the Skarmory nest, but there was yet another Skarmory nest, so of course, as per tradition, when there's a Skarmory nest, I get at least one shiny Skarmory. I'm actually kind of surprised I didn't get more than one with how crazy lucky that day was, because those shiny Sneasels you're seeing there are from the Sneasel Research Day, Right around that same time, I went out to walk at the park. That's when I got the shiny Skarmory. Did the raid for Entei. It's like I wasn't even like hunting for Entei, so I apologize for like stealing all the luck from the air or something. But I just did one Entei because like I had the free pass, nothing better to do, and it didn't feel right to have spend so much time for practically the whole time frame of Entei being around and not even doing one raid. So I did the Entei raid, and it ended up being shiny, which I'm pretty happy about because I don't remember how good my luck was during Entei raid hour. Not as bad as Suicune raid hour. Ugh, but that's a story I'm not sure I want to get into today. Suicune raid hour is kind of, way back in the day, was kind of when I just like got sick of raid hours. It was, long story short, me and the community, because this was way back before COVID was a thing, like maybe 2019, 2018, we did like all the raids in town, went over to another town, did all the raids, and not a single one of those raids ended up being a shiny Suicune for me. I eventually ended up trading for it, so it was what it was, but oh well. Oh, apparently I got 3 shiny Sneasels. Just forgot about that one because of all the other shiny luck I was having that day. So you got Shell Cypher I'm holding on to for some reason. Did some Ho-Ho raids, did some Raikou raids. Forget how recently that shiny Sentret was, but not that I need more shiny Sentrets. Like, it was getting up there with one of the more common shinies for me personally. Raikou, and I don't remember if this was part of February or January, but this is a nice story to end off on, so I'm just gonna talk about this real quick. Glorious Yellow Cub. I don't think I have the words to describe just how excited I was when I did the Shinx raid and it actually turned yellow. This is one I've been hunting for forever. Countless story after countless story of annoyances that happened along the way that I can relate specifically to trying to get a shiny Shinx. Like the one time I went to Universal Studio way long ago, and our whole family took part in the Shinx raid. Neither of my sisters actually play Pokemon Go, but of course, when the one sister did the raid, it ended up being a gold cub. Meanwhile, I've done like several dozens at this point, and did not get a gold cub until just now. Like, I think I did one Shinx raid just for the heck of it since getting this shiny. So I've done a total of, between hatching them out eggs and raids, I've gotten 103 Shinx, and not a single one was shiny. Not bad for full odds, but I'm pretty sure, like, if I'm taking raid odds into account, and I have to, like, double check the facts in the Silph world and that if, like, shiny... I know with legendary Pokemon the odds of them being shiny are increased, but I'm not sure if that's true with normal raids or raid exclusive Pokemon. Either way, it felt like forever since I got this gold club, and I'm glad I finally did. You know what? And it didn't even turn out half bad too. Like, I think it was like had perfect IVs in the attack, or I mean in the HP and the defense. Just a little bit of a downer because I think that attack was only like 13. I don't think it was like the lowest it could be from a raid, but it was definitely like no higher than 13, which isn't bad considering the other odd ones were perfect. Anyways, I think that's about all I got for particular experiences of January. I might have even like seeped a little bit into February, but that's fine. I think we're right before Roselia Community Day, which makes a good easy way for me to remember where I left off. And this is already half an hour, which works out for me. I don't feel like I'm like cheating anyone out of too short of an editorial. Again, apologies, like this isn't all one podcast like I was originally planning. The goal is to eventually make a monthly retrospective and just combine all the events and my thoughts and opinions on them along the way into one podcast. I just have to actually remember to record it further in advance. Thanks again for tuning into this edition of the Pokemon Go Fireside Chat. Main goal of the show is to have a Pokemon Go theme editorial once a week, minus the 1 week of the month that I do my other show, Game and Chill, which is basically a retrospective like this, but for the content I do on the channel as a whole, as well as some other little aspects of my life that I want to sprinkle in at the particular time. I basically just play a game while talking about how things have been lately, and I even take a little time to just squeeze in all the art and drawings I've done in that particular month as well. On top of retrospectives, though, we do have more traditional editorials where I take a topic and try to look at it as objectively as possible while inserting my opinions where appropriate along the way. So if all that sounds good, just keep listening in to the platform that you're listening to this on. Subscribe to it if you can. If it has a rating system, ratings are supposed to be really good for podcasts, so it's always appreciated. And if you're itching to get more content from me besides the once a week podcast, I encourage you to check out my site and take a look at the other things I do and follow me on the platforms that are appropriate to the content you want to see. Like I do streams, been trying to get a twice a week schedule with that. I do videos pretty consistently, like GBL's stuff on Monday and Fridays, a playthrough on Tuesday and Thursday, and miscellaneous content on Saturday. Once a month I'll take a week off, but usually I'll just take that time and frame of opportunity to upload VODs from Twitch onto the channel so you have at least something to watch while I'm taking a little break from the more traditional content. YouTube, Twitch, all of that should be accessible from the website, along with the Pokemon Go AR channel I do. But I've been blabbing on about myself long enough. Thanks for letting me have a little time to ramble. And at the very least, I hope to hear back from you all next week for another edition of the Pokemon Go Fireside Chat. Take care.